Boom.
Have you seen the movie The Shining?
Once a long time ago.
Okay. Do you like it?
Uh, I can't really remember, but I love him, so I'm
Jack
assuming I
Nicholson?
would. Yeah, he's one of my favorites.
Okay, good. I guess that's a decent answer. I guess I can't remember, but sure. It's a great movie, okay? Stephen King wrote it, Stanley Kubrick directed it. I love that movie. It's
Man,
very
you
good.
talk about this. Yeah, before I started this podcast with you, I had no idea what that guy's name was. But since we've started this podcast, I've heard that guy's name about 50 times out of your mouth.
Stanley Kubrick?
Kubrick. Yeah, that guy.
Kubrick. Okay.
Kubrick.
Well,
Yeah,
fucking
just
remember
saying.
it. Remember
You
it.
have a you have a love affair with this director.
Of course I do. He's my tied for top two directors are Tarantino and Kubrick. Easy.
Okay.
Um, he's also a genius. Like he has like a 200 IQ, and in his spare time he did like complex mathematics for fun. And his movies are so detailed and brilliant. You're watching a genius is art that you can't even comprehend fully. Anyway, it's such a good movie, and I'd always heard of this legendary documentary about the movie called Room 237, Room 237, and it's this legendary documentary about The Shining where it's like if you like The Shining, you have to watch the documentary and stuff like that. And I remembered that, and I was like, oh, fuck, I should watch that documentary. So I downloaded it and watched it. It was so good. It was so fucking good and crazy as well. And it's like they show a lot of clips from the movie and stuff like that, but then they interview like film buffs who have like studied The Shining. And it opened up so much more to me about the movie because you get you know the actual plot. You know the family goes and stays at that Overlook Hotel in Colorado over the winter because they need someone to like operate the fucking furnace and keep the pipes up and whatever maintenance and stuff like that. And then the guy goes crazy and tries to kill his wife and kid with an axe. And you're like, that's the plot of the movie. And then all these film buffs, one of them was like, that's not the actual plot of the movie. The whole movie is about the Native American genocide. That's the true meaning behind the movie. And here's the reasons why. And here's all the details. And here's all the things about it. And you're like, whoa. And then the next film buff's like, it's actually not about any of that. What it's about is the Holocaust. This is an actual movie telling the story of the Holocaust. And they explain why. And they show all the lines and the posters in the movie and all this stuff. And you're like, holy fuck. And then another film buff is like, it's actually about how the moon landing was faked because, and that one actually had more evidence than the other two because the whole theory about the fake moon landing is that Kubrick shot the footage that we've seen. He shot it for NASA because he legitimately went and spent time at NASA and like helped them out with cameras or something like that. So everyone's like, while he was there, they had him film it. And then the theory was that in The Shining, he was telling us that he actually did that. He was showing us a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, holy shit, that seems legitimate too. Anyway, it was a fucking great documentary. It was so good. And then last year, I know they released a movie called Doctor Sleep with Ewan McGregor. It's like a horror movie, and it was supposed to be a sequel to The Shining. I never saw it because the previews just actually freaked me out, and I was like, this movie's too scary for me. But which I regret now. I should have went and saw it. And it came out in 2019, so I watched that too. And I was like, I hate sequels more than I hate sequels as much as anybody hates sequels because they're all terrible. But the reason that I gave, and while some parts of that movie were slow and boring and corny, I gave it legitimacy because it was actually a Stephen King novel that he wrote. He wrote The Shining, he wrote Doctor Sleep. So I'm like, okay, this is a legitimate sequel because it's going off a book. They're not just trying to profit sort of off of it. And it was okay. It was pretty damn good. Like half of it was really good and the other half of it was really corny, but it was really good. Like they go back to the hotel and it's like, oh fuck, we're going back to the hotel. And I don't know, it was crazy. However, I didn't watch The Shining this week. I just watched Room 237, which is so good, and then Doctor Sleep, which was okay. I'll probably never watch it again, but it was good shit. Kubrick, dude, he's good. Full Metal Jacket, Clockwork Orange, The Shining, Eyes Wide Shut. One of my favorite movies, Doctor Strangelove. Very good.
Clockwork Orange. I can't watch Clockwork Orange, man. I just get
It's hard
so
to
fucking
watch.
fed up with it. I'm like, I'm just done. I'm done.
It's hard to
I've
watch.
I've tried to watch it, I think 3 times, and I make it about a half an hour, and I'm like, fucking shut it off. I'm watching something else. I can't do this movie. All those movies I get are like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, Eyes Wide Shut.
Not even close to my top movies of all time.
Have you seen Eyes Wide Shut? Okay, it's like a trigger. For the first time I watched it, I was on acid, and I had never seen Eyes Wide Shut before, and I watched it, and it like, it embedded itself deep in me as I can never, if I see anything from it, I'm like, it just triggers me, and I feel like I'm tripping, and I can't, it's like nails on a chalkboard. But it's a crazy movie with Tom Cruise. It was Kubrick's last movie. Crazy sex parties.
So I'm canceling that, and then before I get to the canceling part, I have 4 credits. Like, so I have 4 books and I'm like, well, fuck, I might as well. I need to get 4 books, and they'll just sit in my library, and I can listen to them at any time. So guess what Daddy started?
Nonfiction?
Fiction.
I don't know.
It's relevant to this show.
It's relevant to this show.
Written by Stephen King.
The Shining?
Yeah, I started The Shining.
Oh, wow.
I'm about 12 hours in right now.
Good.
Woo, bro! That
You're gonna
book
have to watch the movie. You're gonna have to watch the movie
my
again.
plan is to listen to the book all the way through, because I don't know if I've ever watched the movie or not. I don't know if I have watched the movie and it's just a distant memory, or if just those really famous movie scenes that you just see are
like the kid, the camera following the kid pedaling his little tricycle around the hallways, and then he stops, and the 2 twin girls standing there.
Yeah,
it's
or
like shit like that. Yeah.
Here's Johnny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that whole thing. So I don't think I've seen it, but I'm listening to the book,
Criminal.
man. Have you listened to the book? I'm assuming you haven't read the book or
I have
like
not
that.
read the book. I
don't know. I don't know. I was hoping to be done with the book, but I'm not. I've been on it all week trying to finish it. It's very good. I really do like Stephen King now. Like, now it makes sense why he's written a million books. It's like, okay, I get it. You're a really fucking good author. Like, I really like the way he writes. He does this thing, which I don't know what the term for it is, like in writing. I don't know if there is a term. There has to be a term for doing this. But it's when, like, you'll be writing a paragraph out, and, like, you'll be on subject. Like, and Jan did this, and da-da-da, and just you're going along the way, like, anyone would write. And then you throw in, like, in the middle of the paragraph, like, Jan, blah, 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 period. And then you just throw this, like, left ball sentence out. You know what I mean? That has nothing to do with anything, but it's like a little cherry, you know what I mean? That he's like, and he does that a lot, and I fucking love when authors do that. I don't know if there's a term for that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, I understand.
A good example is Chuck Palahniuk when he in Fight Club, when he's like, "I am Jack's unrelenting rage." You know what I mean? And it's just like this left ball, like out of nowhere. You know what I mean? It's going along, and then just like. You're like, man, it gives you this, like, I don't know, it adds, like, confusion, to the whole thing. I don't know, and he does that thing a lot, and it really makes it interesting to read, or I'm not reading it, interesting to listen to. But it's also...
Stephen King also wrote a lot of his books doing a lot of cocaine, which is why they say a lot of his books have, like, a beginning, a middle, more middle, more middle, more middle, and then a quick ending. And because he was just like, I just finally got to finish this shit. Shit like that.
So I don't know. I don't know what it is. He is really good at building. I didn't know how a horror book was gonna go. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm like, because they can't rely on like blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like that shit to like scare you. It's pretty scary, bro. Like it's
really? I should buy it.
Dude, I would highly suggest it. And there's no way. I mean, obviously, this is the most cliche thing ever, but there's no fucking way that movie captures like what he's doing in this book. Like,
Yeah.
it's just so like, dude,
I think people said the same thing 30 years ago before the movie came out.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: the movie is a lot different than the book. What the whole thing that happened was Stephen King let Stanley Kubrick take the rights to this and make the movie. So Stanley Kubrick had the rights. So then Stanley Kubrick was like, "All right, I'm changing a bunch of this. I'm not playing this out like the book does." So Stanley Kubrick changed a shitload of it. And he even did a fuck you, and Stephen King like didn't like it. But Stephen King is famous for driving this little red Volkswagen Beetle, like wherever he lives in Maine or whatever. And so there's a scene in the movie where a guy's driving by an accident and this semi has destroyed this red Volkswagen Beetle. And that was just like a fuck you to Stephen King. And then when Stephen King watched the movie, he like turned it off in the middle and was like, and couldn't even finish it. And Stephen King continuously brings it up to this day all the time. Like,
I feel like I am going
to
to not like this movie because
well,
I am really invested into this book. And like
they both can be good. They both can be good.
I'm gonna probably end up siding with Stephen King in the end of this. Like
nobody does. The thing is, the movie is considered more of a classic than the book. Okay,
the book has the highest rating I've seen on Audible yet.
Well, the book is a classic as well. The book is great. They can both be good.
I'm gonna give both of them a shot, but.
I like them. I side with the movie all day long.
You have to get the book or listen to the audio tape because he is painting insanity the best like, dude, I'll be driving in my car the last few nights and like I got like an hour and a half drive from this job I've been working at. And dude, it'll be dark outside and I'll be in this book on this back road with no cars, just doing this windy thing and just listening to him like sell insanity is like what's going on in this book. And like, dude, I'm like going home and I'm like, I think I might be crazy. Like I'm going crazy. He's making me crazy by like this just relentless like, and you're just like, you're like, I'm going to kill someone. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to do it now. Like he's going to make me kill someone. Like,
I know. I understand completely. It's like someone else gets in the car with you and the audiobook starts playing and you're like, oh, sorry, I've been listening to that. And they're like, listening to what? And you're like, oh, you couldn't hear that?
And then on the drive home yesterday or the day before, I'm in like this intense part and it's getting spooky and it's dark outside and I'm heading home and I'm like halfway from this job site I've been working at to a major highway. And it's like a 45-minute drive down this windy fucking road. And I'm like halfway there. I'm in it. And then a Dodge truck is coming at me. And he just starts shutting his lights off and on. And I'm like looking at it. And like what's playing inside my car is like him, contemplating killing everybody and like strangling his wife out and stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is getting crazy. And then this guy pulls off to the side of the road and he's like flashing me and he stops on the side of the road. And I'm like, nope, ain't stopping. Like, I don't give a shit what is going on over there. Like, I'm not getting murdered on this back road. I'm fucking out of here.
Well, yeah. And the whole thing was that, like, the whole thing Stephen King was mad about was that in the book, he made the character, like, slowly go crazy.
Yeah.
And then in the movie, it sort of starts the character's already crazy.
See, that's bullshit.
And he didn't like that. He's like,
dude,
look, it's a 2-hour-long movie. What are you gonna do? You don't have all the time in the world.
It's the whole basis of the book is that he's this guy. He's had a rough past, but he's stopped drinking. He's going up to this new place to like do it, and he's not crazy. But the kid has the shining. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And fucking. It's dealing with this fucking kid and just like he's getting so trapped in life and he has nowhere to fucking turn. Like it's just this building and building and building. And you feel like when you're listening to it, you're like, I get it. I could go crazy now. Like I'm ready to go crazy. Like, oh, and so the fact that he would start out crazy is like, yeah, it's not right. There's this dude. And I know it has something. I don't know how much the movie pays attention to it. But I don't know a bunch about Stephen King, but he's an alcoholic, right? Like, so this, like, dude, if you have like any issues with like substance, this book like even drives home further because it is so driving home, like, you know, and if you struggle with alcohol or anything, like, you're thinking that the whole time. You're like, could I be this person? Like, am I capable of going down this path of like alcoholism and like fucking, you know, and like, dude, and he's like, and then he wipes his lips, and you start like wiping your lips. You're like, oh god damn it, I'm going crazy. Like, I want a drink. Give me a drink. Give me a drink. God damn it. Like,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Look, I'll side with the movie, even though I've never read the book. But that's just me.
Okay.
So did you finish The Shining?
I did. That brings us to our next topic. We're going to
Did you
talk
like
about
it?
The Shining for the third and last time on the show. We're never going to bring it up again. If Brad does,
No,
I'll
we're going to
fucking-
talk about it again. If you haven't watched the movie yet.
Oh yeah, I've watched the movie.
Oh,
I've watched
good.
the movie and I finished the book. And you are fucking
How,
shit wrong, dude. That
how'd
movie.
you watch the movie? How'd you
I-
watch the movie?
I rented it on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Um,
It's good, right?
It's good, but what, dude? Never. If you haven't seen the movie and you plan on getting into the book at any time in your life, fucking do the book or do the movie before the book, because you will be upset with the way they. Dude, fuck that movie. One, I get that you can't fit everything in the book in there.
Exactly.
I understand that, but it's just
Everyone who reads the book first of anything
I
always
know-
says,
I know, it's such
the
a-
movie's not as good.
It's such
Yeah.
a cliche bullshit thing, but it
Yeah, it is.
really is irritating. And then I also want to know, there's some Easter eggs in there that he intentionally changed, which I thought was odd. And maybe this Room 237 talks about this at some points. But
Oh, yeah.
why'd they change the number? Why'd they change the number of the room? That didn't make any sense to me. Like, why'd he do that?
They talk about that. I don't remember what it is.
I
don't
was
remember.
watching the movie and I'm like, he had to have done that on purpose. You wouldn't have done that. If
In
you
the
did-
book, it's not
It's
237.
217. Room 217.
I don't remember.
And then, okay, just a few. Tiny spoiler alerts, but there's
It's
just a few
40 years
things
old.
that I didn't like in the book.
Yeah, sorry.
In the book, I like one. The difference is, and I think you said this last week, is he kind of comes into it already kind of crazy. You know what I mean? And in the book, they do a way better job of like the thing the book does, which is makes the book so awesome, is if you're reading I listen to it. If you're listening to it and you're getting into the beginning of the book, dude, the first third of the book is where the movie starts. You know what I mean? Like, you go a third of the way through the book, and then the movie actually starts at that point.
Right.
And fucking
That makes sense.
the buildup of his character is like, obviously they couldn't have done it in the movie, but it's way more profound. Like, way more profound in the book. Because you start feeling like you're getting angry. Like, he sells it to you and taking a real long time and just keeps picking at you and picking at you and picking at you, and then you start feeling like you're going crazy, and you start thinking about like, am I capable of like killing my family? Like, seriously, like, it gets so dark and into his mind in the book that you get to that point. You start feeling crazy, and in the movie they just didn't. It was just like he just went crazy, and it was like they're just blaming it on this Indian burial ground. And it's just like, oh, this is stupid. Like, the whole point of the book is like, how does a man go crazy? Not a man just goes crazy and kills his family. Like, it was just a horror movie. There was no good story to it. It was just this dude goes up Indian burial ground and then he just goes crazy like that. I get that they limited it on time, but it was like, fuck, man, like, that wasn't that cool. That was you missed it. You missed everything the book was about. And the book was about going crazy. And they sold it in the book, and I guess you can't sell it in the movie. That
No, you just saw the crazy how it plays out.
There's just some things they changed where I was like, what the fuck? And then, like, in the book, the black dude is a way bigger part. Fuck, I can't remember his name. But
Dick?
then at the end, he fucking kills the black guy. And it was like, what the fuck? Like, that's not
His
how
name's Dick.
Yeah,
something.
Dick Halloran.
Okay.
Fucking, he doesn't die.
But the black dude does save. He does save the day. He does save the day
by bringing the snowcat thing, which
exactly.
But it's so much. I don't know. It was better when he lived, and he takes.
And in the book,
because
in the book, aren't there like magical bushes that are like running around?
Yeah, there's a rabbit and two.
I'm glad they didn't do that,
dude. Well, I was thinking the whole time I listened to it, I was like, they're not going to be able to do that in the movie without it seeming dumb.
Yeah.
But in the book, it was really good. And that's like his big fight is with these shrub animals when he gets to the deal. But then at the end of the book, what they also missed in the movie, which I guess they couldn't have fit in, but it was like this whole other, like everything's already come to fruition in the book. And they do this. He does this one. I'm a big fan of Stephen King now. I was like, this kid, I guess, obviously, he's got to be a good author with a fucking resume like that, with that many books behind it. Obviously, he has to be pretty fucking good. I don't know what I was gonna expect, but at the end of it, the fucking black dude they save him, and then fucking there's such a cool thing about the broiler. The whole book's about the broiler, and they just skipped that whole thing in the movie. It's all about the broiler. They bring it up. They just constantly bringing up the broiler, and that's his job in the hotel. Is like when he checks in, the guy's like, they take him down to the broiler room, and they're like, the fucking hotel's being cheap. They have this they won't replace his broiler. And he's like, you have to let the steam off every 3 times a day. If you don't let the steam off, it builds up pressure. He's like, when it hits 180, you couldn't pay me money to stand by this broiler. He's like, it'll blow at over 200. And fucking, so 3 times a day, he's out there fucking doing it. And it's just like, the evilness is an entity in the book. And in the movie, it's not an entity. I don't know, they changed so many things. And you should read the book. It's fucking way better. One of my favorite books.
Well, there's more fucking with the boiler thing in Doctor Sleep.
Okay, that's good. Okay, anyways, end of the book. Black guy saves him. Shining Thing's already dead. They've blown up the hotel. It fucking blows up. And fucking because of the broiler. Because the broiler's such a big part of it. And this whole maze thing has nothing to do with the book. The killing of the black guy doesn't happen. The maze thing doesn't happen. It's all about the fucking broiler. And fucking, they forget to let the broiler out. The kid has a sense. He has a vision. He's like, the broiler's going to blow. And then he sends his telepathy to the black dude, and the black guy sees, and he grabs them, and they're just fucking bolting out of the hotel, and they get to the front door, fucking explodes. They get thrown out into the lawn. It's fucking on fire. They run to the snowcat. They're freezing because they're in their pajamas. He fucking goes to the storage place, which is like weird shit's happening in the storage place. The black guy goes in, and fucking they're sitting on a snowmobile. It's not a snowcat, it's a snowmobile. And then he's like, if we try to drive out of here, you guys are going to freeze to death. And he's like, I think I remember blankets being in the storage room. He goes in the storage room, and then it starts happening to him. And he's like, and then he's like talking to himself in his head. And he's like, it would just be easier to put these people out of their misery. And he's like, and then he grabs, and it's not an axe in the book. It's a fucking croquet, but it's this weird English game. Crook, whatever. And he grabs a mallet, just that Jack had. He grabbed another one. And then he's like looking at the mallet, and he's like, this lady's almost dead. He's like, she's probably going to die on the way down. Why don't you just take care of her? And then he's like, you know what? They've been shitting on your black ass your whole life. You don't know these fucking white people anything. And he's like, they fucking da-da-da. And then he's like, walking, and then he turns and like starts walking out. And you're like, no, he's going to fucking kill him. God damn it. And then he fucking gets to the door and just like shakes his head. And he's like, fuck. And chucks the mallet and then runs out. And they're like, what's going on, dude? And he's like, I'm never fucking coming back to this place ever again. And then fucking gets on a snowmobile and takes off. So he almost kills him. It's like this weird little twist at the end.
Damn.
It's like, oh shit. Sorry about all the Shining talk. Very good.
That's
books, weird. A million times better. I know that's cliche as shit to say, but it was really hard to watch that movie. I sat there the whole time like, bullshit.
So stupid. Well, Room 237's on YouTube.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm going to.
It might make you appreciate it a little more. It's a fucking great movie. I'm sorry. And
it was okay.
They like Stanley Kubrick like tortured that actress on set to get her to really seem freaked out. He'd like throw things at her and like wake her up, like shaking her if she like falls asleep, and make her do like 80 takes, like over and over, and 80 takes, and call her a cunt and all this crazy shit. And so she fucking was really looking like freaked out, and then he'd be like, action, and she's like, ah, like really. She only did that, and then she was in like the Popeye movie or something, and that was like it. They like it, like Stanley Kubrick would be canceled today for sure, because he was just like, he just wants to get the scene any way you can fucking get it. And she did a great job in that, though. I fucking love it.
It was good.
And Jack Nicholson, good God.
Yeah. I just wish
It's creepy.
after that movie,
I hate
me
when
and the girl
when I
had
watch it. Yeah, sorry.
we had a full conversation, and I was like, TV now, they're being so weird with TV, and series are like all the jam. After the fucking Dragon one that was a few years ago, fucking whatever that fucking show
Game
was.
of Thrones?
Game of Thrones. They need to go back and touch these stories that have already been done on film. And, dude, that movie would be an excellent series. A fucking 6-part, 7-part series. That whole book actually gone through, done in depth. Fucking Jesus, that would be good. And then I'm just thinking, like, why aren't they doing that? Why are they, like, making all these bullshit ones? There's so much shit from the past, like, really good books that could be gone back through and made excellent series. Or, like, there's, like, everyone was making these movies about books, like, 10, 15, 20 years ago, and they just didn't have the time to make a good movie. So they butchered the fucking story. And it's like, there's all these good books that now HBO can fucking do it. These shows, they obviously realize now that people will sit through 7 movies, of the same story. Like, they'll do that. So it's like, let's fucking go back and do this. Let's go redo The Shining. You know what I mean? Like, at least Lord of the Rings had the fucking sense, like, we can't rush this shit. You know what I mean? If they would have tried to rush that shit, they would have ruined those movies. And they did rush it a little bit, but they did it pretty tastefully. Like, at least they broke it into 3 movies, which technically could have almost been 4 with how long the last one was.
Well, and the fact that you don't have to sign up to do 5 seasons. You can do 1 season of 10 episodes that are an hour apiece, and then that's it. You know what I mean? Just a single season. So many shows do that.
I think
that would be amazing.
We need to go back, do The Shining. Like, I watched The Firm a while ago. John Grisham, The Firm. I watched the movie, and I was pissed. I turned it off halfway through. It's like, this sucks. The book is way better. I was like, that book needs to be done in fucking... There's so many old, like, 90s movies. They just need to revisit, scratch the movie, redo it in a 6-hour deal, and actually fucking go at it. I think.
And do it right.
Yeah.
Everyone just wants Marvel.
Fuck it. That's the problem.
Explosions.
That's
Transformers.
That's the problem.
You want
fucking
Transformers.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Fucking, wait, a good story? Nah. No, I just want to see Spider-Man. Like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Yeah. We'll just make The Shining, but then we'll have Spider-Man in there somewhere. Yeah.
People don't care about good stories. I hate the world.
When I watch that movie, though, I skip through the part with the old lady. I can't handle it, and it's just too creepy and weird for me.
I didn't think that was that creepy.
In Dr. Sleep, she's in the movie like 20 times. And I'm like, get this fucking old bitch out of here.
So, is Dr. Sleep just a remake?
No, it's a continuation of the little kid is now grown up and he's an alcoholic, and he's like, we're going back to the hotel. It's all boarded up. The little Danny.
Dumb as hell.
But it's a Stephen King book. Stephen King wrote so they just did the movie off of the book. So there's a Dr. Sleep book.
No, that's ridiculous though. But it couldn't have been about going back to the hotel, because in the fucking movie, or in the real book, he blows the fucking hotel. It burns to the ground. It's done.
Well, it burns to the ground in Dr. Sleep.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
But you can't.
It's a book. It's a Stephen King book. I don't know what's in the book. I've just seen the movie, but it's a Stephen King book.
Now I gotta fucking listen to Stephen King.
It's weird.
Now I gotta listen to that one.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
Okay. Rock and roll.
Oh, and so I have another Shining comment. I found myself this past week in a bookstore here at a local bookstore here. One way or the other, I found myself there, and I was looking for The Shining, and then I found it, and I picked it up, and there's nothing more stupid then when a book is then re-released with a glossy cover of a shot from the movie that's been made, I fucking hate it. I didn't buy the book because of that reason alone.
Because it shows
you know what
Jack
I mean?
Nicholson fucking looking through the deal. Was
Pretty
that it?
much.
Yeah.
No, it was just a red rum on a door, but it was like a new glossy cover, right? And I was like, fuck this. I want the original. I don't even care if people have scribbled in it, if it's torn or whatever. I want the original thing. I don't want the stuff that was put out after the movie was made. And I found all the Lord of the Rings books there. They're all just Elijah Woods on the cover. I'm like, no, fuck this. I hate it.
I get what
I'm
you're
not going to read it anyway.
I get what you're
What?
saying.
Yeah?
No, I get it.
It's stupid. I hate it.
It's cool
I like
when
the original.
It's cool when you can read a book and you have and it's just all brand new to you, and you get to like
I know.
fantasize these characters out, and they have this look. And then it's weird how whenever you watch a movie, it is never anything like your imagination is making these characters out to be, like, ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, but they're cheating. They're cheating the reader by putting Elijah Wood on the cover of Lord of the Rings.
I get what you're saying.
I fucking hate it. I want the original copy, even if it's been ripped and scribbled and someone wrote in it here, "Love Grandma," whatever. I just want the original.
I'm sure you can find
thing.
that shit on eBay.
I'm sure you can. Yeah, I'm sure you can. But
just,
I wasn't gonna buy it from that fucking
complaining.
bookstore. I'm just complaining. Yeah. Anyway.
Ugh.
So, as this is being recorded, just put this out there. The Bucks are going to the Super Bowl. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We don't know who the other team's going to be, which will be in 2 weeks from.